Gabby Petito, let's talk about it. If you're new here, I'm a forensic psychology student and I talk about true crime. As many of you know, the documentary about Gabby Petito just came out. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. But also, like Gabby's mother said, keep in mind that these are real events that happened, and anytime you listen to a true crime case, it did actually affect someone and it is still currently affecting people. So please always keep that in mind and be sensitive. Now, this case definitely shook the nation. One, because it applies to so many people currently who may be in situations similar to Gabby. And two, because she was just well known. She was so well liked. She was very out there. She liked to vlog. She liked to post on social media. And she was just the sweetest soul you could ever meet. Gabby was born March 19th, 1999 in Blue Point, New York. Her parents did split when she was young and ended up getting remarried in 2005, but they all remained kind and friends. Even her step-parents were like parents to her, and they were all extremely supportive of Gabby. Gabby was a very outgoing girl. She loved vlogging. She wanted to be a YouTube, internet, social media influencer one day, and she just loved sharing her life online, and she was very friendly with anyone she would meet. Gabby started dating Brian Laundrie in March of 2019. They did know each other previously from high school, though. From the outside, they appeared to have a normal relationship, but if you were close to them or if you got closer to their relationship, you would see what it was actually like. Brian was very controlling and manipulative. He wasn't actually really supportive of Gabby and her interests like vlogging. He would blame her for things, and she would always take the blame even if it wasn't her fault, and she would end up apologizing and he would forgive her for whatever it was. And if he did ever take the blame, he would shower her with nice things, do all this like love bombing type stuff, and then just go back to being how he was before. On one occasion, Gabby had plans to go out with her friend, and Brian didn't want her to go, so he ended up stealing her wallet and her ID so that she couldn't. And then when she did eventually make it to her friend's house, she was sobbing uncontrollably, and she felt like it was her fault and that she was the one to blame. Gabby and Brian like traveling. Gabby loved seeing the United States and all over the world. And in December of 2020, she bought her 2012 Ford Transit Connect van for their next road trips together. On July 2nd, 2021 is when Gabby and Brian embarked on their road trip that would take them all over the U.S. And Gabby was extremely excited about this. She had been working 50-hour weeks to save up for this, and she was just thrilled, and she was vlogging and journaling about it every day. The trip was going well. Gabby was filming and vlogging, but as we see now in the released footage that she cut out, Brian didn't really like her vlogging. He wasn't very supportive of it. She wrote in her journal that she felt like she was always on her phone and she needed to spend more time with him. She wrote how she didn't deserve him and that he loved her through everything, just really like showing how gaslighting he was to her. On August 12, 2021, police received a disturbance report from a couple that witnessed a man slap a woman and then get in their white van and drive off. Another witness reported seeing the couple as talking really aggressively with each other, the girl maybe punching the guy in the arm, and then the guy seeming like he was trying to leave without the girl and take her phone, and then they end up driving off together. Officers of the Moab City Police Department did find their van. It was driving very erratically, and they questioned both Brian and Gabby. Both Brian and Gabby have marks on them showing an altercation took place. At first, Brian kind of downplays it and he's cracking jokes with the officers. He says that they were arguing and that Gabby started it first by like slapping him, and he admits to pushing her. And Gabby, on the other hand, in the body cam footage, is just distraught. She's sitting in the passenger seat of the car. She's crying. She's saying that it's all her fault because she's been so stressed and that she was the one who started it. And she's just, again, taking all of the blame for this while Brian's just laughing it off and blaming her for it. And so neither of them decide to press charges against each other. They both are agreeing that Gabby was the primary aggressor, and that's how it gets written down on the police report. Now, in the body cam footage, you do hear a police officer say to another one how women will often go back to their abusers until eventually they are killed, and that is also really heartbreaking knowing what happened. The police separate Brian and Gabby for the night. Gabby stays in the van, and they get Brian a hotel room. Gabby ends up calling one of her ex-boyfriends and talking to him a little bit, and she's sounding like she is not in a good state with Brian. She's telling him how she wants to leave him, but she's not sure how, and her ex tells her that he's going to be there for her no matter what happens. She's also talking to her mom all throughout this trip. However, eventually she goes radio silent and her mom isn't getting a hold of her. On August 25th is the last time that Gabby's mom spoke to Gabby and the last post that Gabby makes on Instagram. On August 27th, CCTV footage captures Gabby and Brian shopping in a Whole Foods in Wyoming, and that is the last footage that we see of Gabby. On August 27th, a text is sent from Gabby's phone to her mom that reads, "Can you help Stan? I just keep getting his voicemails and missed calls." This is odd because Stan is Gabby's grandpa and she does not ever refer to him as Stan. On August 30th, her mom receives the last message from Gabby's phone that simply reads, "No service in Yosemite." Now Gabby's parents are not hearing back from her at all, and at first they think that maybe she just has no service, but then when her best friend's birthday comes and she doesn't hear from Gabby, they're getting concerned, and they think that maybe Gabby and Brian are missing somewhere. They try to get a hold of Brian's parents, and they don't hear back from them, and the texts that they're sending are green, meaning that either their phone is shut off or they blocked them, which is, again, odd to them. And they're putting up posters of Gabby everywhere, and after no luck, on September 11th, they report Gabby is missing after 10 days of no contact. Police go to Brian's parents' home, and they find Gabby's van in the driveway, and Brian is there but no sign of Gabby. When they try to talk to the parents, they just tell them that they have lawyered up and that they don't have anything to say at the moment, which is just odd. Like, why would you do that? On September 15th, Brian is named a person of interest, but at this point, he is lawyered up and refusing to talk to anyone. Cell phone records show that on August 29th, Brian called his mom and talked to her for about 55 minutes. After that, Brian's dad had contacted a lawyer and then wire transferred the lawyer $25,000. On September 17th, Brian's parents report him as missing. They say that at first they thought he just had gone hiking, and now they cannot get a hold of him, and he is a missing person now. And they're looking everywhere for him, and they can't find him at all. On September 19th, police discover the remains of Gabby Petito in a campsite in Wyoming, and the autopsy reveals that she died of blunt force trauma to the head and neck as well as manual strangulation. There is now an arrest warrant out for Brian, but still no sign of him until October 20th when they find Brian's remains. His remains were found in an environmental park in Florida where he used to go hiking, and the autopsy reveals that he took his own life. Next to him, they found a bag with a weapon in it as well as a notebook. In this notebook were goodbyes to his family members as well as his account of what happened to Gabby. Brian's account does not match up with what the autopsy report says, but in his account, Gabby fell into a creek of water and suffered injuries, and she was shaking and seizing, and he could tell that she was in pain, and she asked him to help her stop the pain, and so he took her life to help put her out of her misery, and that in the time he thought that it was right, but he now sees how that was wrong and how he doesn't want to live without her, so he took his own life. His note said, quote, "I am not ending my life because of a fear of punishment, but rather because I can't stand to live another day without her." Brian was officially blamed for Gabby's death, and the investigation was closed. However, I don't feel, and many people don't feel, that justice was actually served. Brian was controlling, manipulative, and abusive of Gabby throughout their whole relationship and ended up ending her life, and he could not own up to what he did, so he lied his way all the way to the end and ended by taking his own life, the cowardly way. A note was found that Brian's mom sent to Brian that said "burn" after reading, and this note detailed how she would love him no matter what, and nothing he could do would make her stop loving him, and that if he needed help hiding a body, she would be there with shovels and help him bury it. Like, it was clear that they helped him cover it up from the start, that he called her, told her what happened, and they immediately lawyered him up and tried to help him get out of it. Gabby's parents ended up filing a lawsuit against the police for the body cam footage of when they responded to the incident of Gabby being hit by Brian, and they also filed a lawsuit against Brian's parents, saying that they knew where Brian had left Gabby and they didn't come forward. Gabby's legacy continues to live on through her parents and step-parents, who remind us to live like Gabby did, full of life and full of love, and they also help to bring awareness to situations like Gabby to hopefully help prevent another woman from having the same story. This case is just heartbreaking.